Extra, extra, read all about it as we will be spoiling all contents from this week's episode in this podcast recap. View at your own discretion.
You've been warned.
Welcome back. We are back on the pod today, back at the house. We're so glad to have you over. We have another doubleheader coming at you this week. We are going to be splitting up the videos, though, so stay tuned for the drop of The Last of Us, Episode 3. That is also coming to you. We will be breaking that down here soon. We are back, of course, to discuss the next 3 episodes. Yes, we got another 3 episodes of Andor. And I'm very excited because, you know, this is all that we've talked about, we've wanted, and now we're getting it. So it's really cool. I don't know if it's going to last, but I'm your host, Noah Marano. Back again with my co-host and producer, and since scheduling stopped us from getting the original yet again, we have the next random actor who will be standing in for Senator Organa. Congrats on your big break, first of all. And second off, how are the seasonal investiture parties treating you these days?
I just feel like this reference is a little bit racist, but
Well,
just because he's a darker skin guy.
I could be a lot more racist if you want me to.
That's valid. Well, anyways, politics sucks.
Yeah.
Not fun.
Not fun. Luckily for you, lots of politics in these 3 episodes. Lots of it. But listen, we're going to get into all that. But before we do, we are going to be spoiling some things, so I want to warn the audience. But before we do, let's get into our 10-2 recap of the show and of the couple episodes that we got. All right, so Cassian and Bix are laying low on Coruscant in a safe house while they struggle with a previous tough decision that Cassian had to make on a previous mission, and Bix is still haunted by her torture from years ago. Mon Mothma faces challenges rallying Senator's support against the Empire's oppressive actions on Gorman, highlighting all the complexities of the rebellion going on in the political atmosphere of Coruscant. Cyril has left for Gorman, working undercover for ISB and Deidre to stir up the Gormans, all playing into the Empire's hands. And posing as a fashion designer, Cassian assesses the Gorman resistance uncovering hidden Imperial military activities and critiquing the rebels' preparedness. We venture then off to Saw Gerrera's corner of the galaxy, where we get hints of his exposure to the explosive gas rhydonium and his dangerous radicalization of the rebellion. And during a rebel mission on Gorman to secure Empire resources for the rebellion brewing on the planet, Cinta is accidentally killed by friendly fire. Luthen and Clea must extract a spy device from Skiller's collection, while Mothma and Krennic use political speech to jab at each other about the Empire's tactics throughout the galaxy. Cassian grows wary of Luthen's manipulative leadership after he approaches Bix without Andor being there to protect her. And the arc ends with Bix confronting and killing her former torturer, Dr. Gorse, symbolizing her reclaiming agency getting back to the rebellion, really. And that's where we leave off, heading into the next time jump. We get a lot of stuff, a lot of names, a lot of political jargon. These episodes are busy. Busy to say the least. But let's get into it. I don't even know where you want to start because there's so much that happens in these 3 episodes. But also, like, it's a lot of the same stuff. It's a lot of word jargon in the room just being passed along. And again, they really leave the audience. They really put a lot on the audience to just kind of figure out what's going on. So how did you feel coming out of these 3 episodes as opposed to the first 3 episodes that we had?
Hot take. Season 2 is not as good as Season 1.
I don't know if that's a scorching take. What have you heard so far? I haven't really seen a lot of I've just heard a lot of people are continuing to do the glaze.
Yeah,
the glaze
yeah.
continues.
I think people. I'm not saying it's a bad show.
Yeah,
it's not. I mean, that's what I'm saying. It's just not as easy to watch as Season 1 was.
Yeah.
And already Season 1, not to say that it was pushing it, but it was like Season 1 has like the audience do a lot to like kind of pick up on all the spy talk and the espionage and all that stuff. But I felt like the biggest thing is the stakes felt more real in Season 1.
Yeah.
Now we still have more time in Season 2, granted. But the stakes just felt so like intense that it just I think that was like what made the show, like because you felt the danger that was going on. Now there are still stakes in this season. They just have a different appearance, and while it's still dangerous, yes, it's just you kind of get lost in all of the nuances of the politics and because this is the biggest thing that's like not a problem, but like only Star Wars like enthusiasts understand is like name dropping planets and name dropping people. It's like across all that the IP has brought. I understand if you name like a big planet from the movies, like yes, like sure, most people get that, but like when you're just name dropping these little planets that like yes, I did watch the shows that that planet was mentioned on, but like I don't remember what happened in Rebels season 3, episode 4, and that one guy that showed up.
There's
you know
a
what
lot
I mean?
of references
like,
to stuff like that.
There's so many that it's like I literally watched, and it's not below me. Okay, I watched it like a Easter egg video. Or they're called Easter egg videos, but I just think it's like a hey, you probably didn't understand this, so like let me break it down for you. And they were just like, yeah, and this person was in this episode, this one time, and it's like.
There's
Bro,
a lot, dude.
Oh my gosh. Like, I don't know. It's, if it's over my head, it's over my head.
Yeah.
That's fine. I'll take that. To you, you understand everything. I'm an idiot. Totally fine. It's just like, it's just so much. And I think it's great for the lore of Star Wars. I think it fills in a lot of gaps and it's awesome. And it's nice to like go back within the story and fill these little gaps, and now you have like a holistic story with you know what happens at every moment and every time period leading up to the big events in the movies. But it's just like, dude, this is way too much for me, bro.
Yeah, there's a lot more of this going on than there was in season 1 for sure. And like where they sprinkle it in season 1, it never feels overwhelming. Season 1 was good. This was the first time I had to like rewind on like several different scenes. And I had to like listen to it again a little bit more intently. Yeah. Because even for some of these, like I was not getting what the hell they were talking about.
And it's also like, keep in mind, like these drop Tuesday night. Mm-hmm. We film on Wednesday. And I love that they're dropping 3 episodes, but it does make it a little bit harder because like we have full-time jobs. So it's like our attention is split when we have to watch these because we don't have the time to watch them right when they drop for 3 hours.
Yeah.
Like we have to watch it at work. So like I know for me personally, like I was watching the episode and it's like my attention's a little bit split.
Yeah.
And like, yes, I had to go, oh man, I missed that. Let me rewind. And then as they're going by through the dialogue that I just rewinded for, I also have to look back on my computer and then I'm like, dang it, I missed it again.
Yeah, I get stuck in that.
So it's like, just
too.
keep in mind, it's like, so like this show is it's just hard.
Yeah.
It's hard. And it's, I got more than I thought I would, but it's difficult.
It definitely requires more attention than season 1 and really any Star Wars show that we've had. Like I don't think you can this is not a show to put on in the background while you're doing stuff. Like, and often I've only really said that about shows that are literally in like different languages where I've like had to actually sit down and read captions and stuff.
Yeah.
This one though, I agree. It's balancing a lot, and I don't think it's doing it in a bad way or a poor way by any means. I just think it's relying heavily on like the audience's ability to pick up everything they're putting down, which is fine to some extent. But I agree, like there were a lot of references where it's like, because I also watched a breakdown video once I got done with these. There's so many references to just different things that happen throughout the Star Wars continuity, and it's like
books, shows, movies. One-time Christmas specials, like
a lot.
So
Legends,
much.
like they were bringing in Legends lore at this point, and it's like,
but all that to say,
yeah,
the fact that they can cohesively write a story predating a major movie and fill in all these gaps while taking everything that's happening that we know already happened into account and telling a cohesive, fluent story, filling in the gaps, not like breaking canon, is uber impressive.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's so impressive.
Yeah.
Because if this was coming out before Rogue One, you can kind of do whatever you want because then the next part, you just go back and build off that. You're going off something that's already established. Not only is the movie it's building up to establish, but then the whole, like the sequels, the whole world post-Empire, all of this. And so it's like you're planting seeds of stuff that is already sprouted.
Yeah.
And so it's like just to balance all of that, dude, you've got the books, you got the shows, you got the movies, you got all of this that's like canon. You can't break the canon.
Yeah. You can't.
And so it's like it's so impressive.
It is
dude.
really
It's
impressive.
So impressive.
And I think it's interesting that you say, I don't know if you said it's got like no through line or it's got less of a through line. I actually am enjoying like the through line of this show. And I think it's tricky when you're time skipping, but they're not doing it in a
I actually
way.
love the time skip.
I don't mind it like at all. And it works a lot of the time. Because I don't have to sit and worry about, every time it starts a new time skip, I'm really not sitting there worrying about like what happened in the gap that I'm missing.
Yeah, I love like we time jump and then they're like, yeah, you killed this guy. And I'm like, whoa, what?
Yeah.
What guy?
Yeah. And it's just like,
and it's like, yeah, it's this young guy looked at her, so you just capped him.
I'm good with that.
That's cool to me.
Yeah. Like, and that's,
sounds like he
they
deserved
gave it about 5 minutes of talking about it. That was it. And those 5 minutes allowed us to see a little bit into what tension they're feeling, which was great. But I agree, I didn't really need any more of it. And I wasn't sit there wondering more of it. I just know that Cassian and her have been doing missions the past year.
Yeah.
And we learned that the other kid that was with them, I forget his name, is I guess he got trained by her mechanic wise, and he's now with Saw Gerrera. That is the same kid, is it not?
Yes, because this is the guy whose father got tortured in season 1.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. So
Yes.
he's now with Saw Gerrera too, and they got that whole plot line going on. Which, I don't really want to talk too much on the Saw Gerrera plot line, but like the ending
his voice
confused
is so
the shit
funny.
out of me, bro.
His voice is so funny.
It's super confusing. I didn't get anything of what was happening at the end.
When he was inhaling the stuff.
Yeah, like I after watching the breakdown and seeing that like, oh, he's like getting high off this stuff.
Yeah, I think it just plays into like the extremist.
Oh no, I agree. But it also shows too how he gets
for sure
his mask later on, which I think is interesting. But when I first watched it, I was like, what is he talking about? Like, I got the sister reference, but outside of that, I was like, what are you talking about? And then I didn't understand why the kid was going crazy. I didn't realize that they were like literally inhaling a gas that was like making them high.
Oh, you didn't get that?
No, I just like completely whiffed on my like over my head because I wasn't really understanding anything about that plot.
Gotcha.
Other than the fact that like he exposed a spy within his organization. Like that was all I got.
Because the only thing I got from that side plot was that they were inhaling gas.
They were getting high.
Yeah, that's the only thing I got.
Like you said, I'm splitting my time between the computer and my phone screen, and like I just missed the part where that like expels gas that is like literally like Star Jumper gas. And so
the only thing from Saw Gerrera I got is he capped the mole.
Yeah.
And then he was inhaling the gas that he said. He literally just went on a monologue on how you should not inhale this gas at all. And then he just proceeded to take a big whiff of it. And so I was like, oh, all right.
Yeah.
Sick.
Cool. Sounds good. But that being said, you know, throughout the busyness of these 3 episodes, there were like quite a few scenes that I did really like. I did really like a lot of the Empire scenes where we're showing I don't know. I never really thought I would find that fascinating, but the inner workings of the Empire between these day-to-day lives of how they're doing this.
Like the IBS?
Yeah, like all that stuff is like really fascinating to me. And their inner office politics on like there's a power struggle like going on between 2 people. That stuff really grips me when I'm watching this show. And the fact that they're kind of adding Krennic in a little bit slowly also helps because I think his presence through that character is just done really well. And even like later on in the episodes when we get to the Mon Mothma scene where him and Mon Mothma are going back and forth, again, another episode you got to another part of the dialogue you got to really intentionally listen on because you're gonna miss that part. But even that, like, I just love, despite how busy it is, I really appreciate this side of Star Wars. Like, just every time I see more and more of it, it's never really like making me sick of it, even though it is busy.
God, if you love nuanced political espionage, God, this show's for you.
Yeah, 1,000%.
And you're probably just rock hard the whole time.
1,000%.
If you love little like innuendos and within dialogue that like, especially between spies that are like cryptically talking, like you're probably just so hard watching this show.
So 100%.
And also like I would say my favorite part of these 3 episodes, and like it took me a while to understand what's going on. But it was like how many people are like we are so good at spying both sides that we know that we're being spied on and we're letting them spy on us so we can spy on them.
It's such a chess match, bro. It's insane.
What's homie's dude name on Gorham?
On Gorman? Which one? The leader or Cyril? Cyril's the implant from Deidre.
Yes, that guy.
Yeah, the guy who we've been following
Yes.
since season 1, who's had a vendetta.
Yeah, and he's like, my office is bugged. Dang it.
dang it.
Who would have thunk it? It's like he knew the whole time.
1,000%.
It was just literally
It's crazy too, because like
I'm
you
so
see-
upset.
You see later that like obviously these Gormans are like they're thinking they're like starting this
Yeah.
movement. And then you get the Empire scene later where they're like, yeah, they're playing like right into our hands.
Yeah.
Like couldn't be going perfect. Couldn't be going more perfect.
Yeah, sick. It's just,
it's
that was funny.
that
And
was
it's
so
also
funny,
like,
bro.
because then you get scenes of like Cassian's Cassian's one-liner where it's like, hey, like, it's gonna make a big mess. Like, just have those people stop following me.
Yeah.
It's like, one, bad A.
Yeah.
It's like, hey,
Another
hey,
great scene.
hey, those guys following me.
Yeah.
Like, it's just gonna make a mess if they
let's
get
just
caught.
stop doing that.
Let's just stop.
Tell them to stop.
I'm gonna go out and go about my merry way. Just call them off. But it's just like they're so good that like they're spying on people that are spying on them, but they know they're spying on them,
Yeah.
so they're using and manipulating what they say and
Yeah.
and what it's just
It's
like
3D chess when it comes to
For sure,
manipulation
bro.
and like movements throughout this, because like you can see there's levels to this in that scene, because like these guys are clearly rookies, and Cassian is just working circles around them, literally throughout the entire conversation.
eat these guys for breakfast.
Eating them for breakfast, dude. And it happens again later too, like when he actually comes into contact with the Gorman leader, is like, hey, like, are y'all sure you're ready for this? Like, I don't think you are. Like, you guys we need to be patient on this. This is a long game. type stuff.
No, we got him.
No, yeah, we're good. We're good. We got a plan. We're gonna do it. And
They have no idea.
Cassian gets back to Luthen. He's like, we need to dip immediately. We need no part of this. This is not. This is trouble. Which
It
again,
is.
dude, like Luthen and Cassian scenes together are always electric.
Luthen's losing it.
Yes, but dude, he is still just S tier in this show, bro.
He
I
is.
love him.
He is, but like considering where he was season 1, like now, like the acting hasn't even dipped a little bit.
Not even a little bit.
But his character, which is intentional, how he's written, is like slowly
He's slipping.
slipping.
And they were showing too, he's getting overwhelmed. The same way
Yes.
the Empire is getting overwhelmed in certain aspects. They were getting this, and it's cool they're showing that, because it's showing how like they're showing the need for the rebel. It can't just be Luthen and his assistant in the office anymore. It's gotta spread out further.
Yeah, a Jedi.
Yes, but like they have to start, building out factions of this in an organized way, because he legitimately. They're overwhelmed sitting there monitoring everything all the time.
Yeah, that one girl on the turntables.
Oh, dude, she's working.
she's trying, bro.
She's trying, bro. I did think that was a really just outside of like plot things right now. The way this was shot and like edited. The sound design at the beginning of that episode was really cool.
That was cool.
How they bled into the beginning of that, because I was like, what is going on? What am I
Yeah.
listening to right now? And to see that like that's what she's been listening to this entire time. It's crazy. I had thought like with all the crazy technology they have in the Star Wars universe, they're really just stuck in the old times of like they just have to sit here and rotate this dial to different frequencies until they find something that they can hear and listen to or communicate through.
Through frequencies, yeah.
Yeah.
But like aren't all these things like she's listening across multiple planets?
Yeah, she's like, multiple systems.
So it's like as corny as it looks, it's also intergalactic
A
communication.
1,000%.
Which is
I would just feel like if with as advanced as the Star Wars universe is there not something better than this than just radio frequencies?
what does she need, the Roadcaster 2.0?
Yes, I don't know. Something though. Something that just like looks more modern. But honestly, I'm 100% kidding. I'm just nitpicking
sure.
here. But
Well, it's also like you gotta look at the I don't know, it's just the clothes they wear too. It's very like 70s.
it is.
So it's like it
It
has
mirrors
to
that time.
It,
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it has to, because this is taking place before New Hope, which
Mhm.
is in the 70s, like the movie. So like all their costume design, everything is like
Yep.
that. So like
Yep.
anything before it also has to kind of match, even though we're in 2025, whatever. But
I
like,
agree.
So it's like it makes sense that it's like analog-ish.
So outside of the busyness, like what is it about? Is it really just that's about this season? That's not.
I have
doing
no
it
idea
for
what's
you as
going
much
on.
as- You just have no clue what's going
No, I
on.
have no idea. I know we're gonna get to stealing the plans of the Death Star.
Okay, so
I don't know how we're gonna get there,
so
but
you're
I know
not
we're gonna
getting
eventually
that
get
this
there.
is all like I've realized that this whole season is about what's gonna go down in Gorman. That's like the overarching plot.
What's gonna go on, Gorman? The massacre?
The massacre.
But that they already referenced 2 of them. How many happened?
So that was a different massacre. So that was the Tarkin massacre. That was Moff Tarkin. That was an event that happened with him on the Gorman planet where he ended up killing just a bunch of civilians, like 500 or plus civilians. That was a separate one. This is a much bigger one that incites, the rebellion, like kind of like what we talked about last time. So I think what this whole season is showing and the whole purpose of it is to get to that canon event because that will lead us like more directly into Rogue One. And how they do have in Rogue One, there's like the rebellion is full-fledged organized across, across multiple systems at that point. So that's kind of the through line that I actually find super intriguing. I like that. Me personally, I like that I know there's this canon event that we know of, and we're all like, that's what this series is gearing towards.
I guess that's what I need.
Yeah.
So I think when it's all said and done, when everything finally leads, the 19 branches that we have finally all kind of coincide at this big event.
Yeah.
I think once that happens, I'll be like, okay. I see it now, but I don't have the full picture. I'm like in the middle of it, and I'm just like, I'm lost in the sauce. But once we're at the end, I'll be like, okay, it all makes sense now.
Yeah.
So I just gotta get there.
Yeah. And
I
think
think I'll be there in 2 weeks.
the first 3 episodes is like, there's 12 episodes in this season?
9.
There's 9 episodes in this season. So getting
12.
I'd say, do we have one more week of this or 2 more weeks of this?
We have 2 more weeks. So 12.
Okay, I was under the
We have
assumption
2
this is
more
all
weeks.
ending next week, but that's
Nope, we have 2 more
I
weeks.
appreciate that a lot more. So
I forget we're dropping 3.
like the first 3 kind of show you they kind of show you what the group has been up to, and they kind of start dropping the hints of Gorman, of why it's that's more of like not Gorman, and then these next 3 episodes really put us like into the beginnings of the political workings of this important planet. And so I think the next 3 I think it's just gonna keep building. It's like the next arc, we're probably gonna get a lot more rebellion on the planet and see how that is boiling to a complete boiling point before what I assume is going to happen, which is like the fallout in the last 3 episodes. And maybe that even happens in like episode 9. We get this at the end of the 3rd arc instead of, in the 4th arc.
The massacre?
I don't know. So we'll see, but I think that's going to be very interesting. I personally like that through line, and I think that is helping, bridge the time gaps. Again, it's making the time gaps easier to swallow. But again, honestly, like they're jumping times, but like I don't feel like they are. Like it doesn't feel like they are when you're watching. Like you understand a year's passed, but it doesn't really feel like that. Other than some dialogue clues they give you that they've done some things and some things have happened. So all that to say, one aspect of the show that is like completely separate from a lot of the Cassian stuff is obviously seeing Mothma kind of develop into her character. We got a little bit more of that, this time with her. I thought her not taking the oath was, that's like, I think a definitive moment for her, because that is not the final nail in the coffin, but that is definitely like the first time it's come to a pass where like the Empire is literally making the senators now like swear allegiance to it, which again, it's all under the guise. They're making the public feel safe by thinking there is an actual Senate doing things, which is like the craziness of the Empire. But we get to see the development of her trying to rally support, and she thinks she has support, and the one person tells them pretty evidently like, no, I don't think you have as much as you think you do. And then they get to the whole Senate scene where that is like the moment. I guess what I'm getting at is that's the first moment I see where she's actually willing to dive a little bit more into the rebellion than she has before. Because now it's coming to a point like where it's like swear allegiance or don't. Like it's a very defined fork in the road. So I think that's going to be something to watch moving forward, is just her development over this. But, overall, like these 3 episodes, they got the job done. I felt pretty satisfied by them. I didn't feel, empty by any means.
Yeah.
Going into these.
I think because last week you said that I didn't know this, but last week you said Rebels is happening at the same time. Now I did watch Rebels.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you did. But
I have not fully watched Rebels yet. I've seen
you know what happens.
Yeah, I've seen episodes and stuff, but
and so I was like kind of like looking into it. I was like, okay, well, then what events and Rebels are like kind of corresponding during the time that this is going on. And it was cool to find out that like during the first 3 episodes, like Ahsoka is operating under her alias or her
Her little
alias,
spy name. Yeah.
her spy name, and she's like what we're seeing is the political side of the rebellion. She's operating during the first 3 episodes the war side of the rebellion.
Yeah.
And so she's corresponding between all like little rebel groups, and one of the groups obviously being like our main characters, the rebels.
Yeah.
And then I think it was the finale of season 2 or season 2 of Rebels, I believe, where Ahsoka versus Darth Vader. And that happens during the first 3 episodes. I thought was cool.
Yeah.
That's why Vader's not involved in what's going on at all. Is because he's
busy with some other things.
He's hunting down Jedi and hunting down Ahsoka.
Yeah.
And getting clapped by Ahsoka.
Yeah.
And so this next 3, I'd be curious to kind of look into what is going on in Rebels at this time, and I wonder if by the end we'll see a reference or a mention or maybe even a cameo of one of our rebels. That'd be cool. Maybe not, but
her code name is Fulcrum.
Yeah,
right?
Fulcrum.
I would love to get a Fulcrum name drop.
That'd be cool.
Even if it's just like listening over the airwaves type stuff. That would be cool.
Talk to Fulcrum
I agree. That would be like, that'd be a cool like connection.
But you gotta make it small. Like,
gotta make it small. Doesn't need to be big.
Ahsoka doesn't need to pull up.
I will say the biggest thing that does happen in Rebels that will be corresponding with this is Mon Mothma's appearance in Rebels.
She does appear.
So, and that's like right after she is kind of sworn off being a senator in the Empire. So, yeah, that'd be
she
cool.
kind of unites everything.
So that kind of corresponding, especially with everything they're doing right now. I definitely don't think we'll get any sort of Rebels appearance.
No, but we could because everybody's casted.
We really could. Everybody's casted. Everybody's on set somewhere. I don't feel like it wouldn't. I don't know if they were. Clearly, they're not filming these at the exact same time.
Yeah, no, but Ahsoka season 2 is being filmed.
Yeah. So that would be pretty cool if they could get if they got somebody in there, even if it's just like a small appearance. Like we got Zeb in. Was that Ahsoka that we got Zeb? What did we get him in?
Yes.
We got him for like 5 minutes.
5 seconds.
5 seconds.
And then it's announced that we are getting a lot of Zeb in season 2.
Oh,
he's coming back.
Yeah, there's some set photos that have been going around of they're not really even set photos because he's CGI'd, but so they've purposely released these. But yeah, I'm excited about that.
Zeb is
because we're getting a lot more of Ezra and everybody too.
Yep,
which is gonna be good.
Ezra, bro,
it's gonna be good. So yeah, I'm looking forward to the rest of the season. I don't feel super passionately one way or the other. Again, I'm kind of feeling the same way as I did in season 1, where like I appreciate this show for what it's doing, and I do think like objectively I see why everybody loves this show. It's still not like something I'm passionately loving like other pieces of Star Wars I have, but I'm enjoying it, and I'm enjoying the ride that we're going through.
I think that's how I feel. I feel more of that in season 2. Season 2, I understand the hype. I understand why it's good. And I do think it's dope.
Yeah.
Not necessarily my cup of tea. Season 1, I probably differ from you. I actually like love that season. Like that season like, is really, really good. Like the Prison Break is just done so well. And I just think like again, like the stakes that season 1 set to me just felt a little bit more intense. So a little bit different. But like, yeah, season 2, again, I get it. Just to me personally, and maybe I just don't have the time or the attention span to like give it the TLC that it needs.
I mean, yeah, but like I get what you're saying because like this season tonal wise with all the espionage stuff is a lot deeper into the espionage than last season was. Like last season was a lot of watching Cassian survive. And that was it. We got the prison plot. We got him in the beginning running from the murders on the planet. And so like that was a lot more grounded and really just like what's happening with Cassian versus here's a lot more. You're seeing all the inner workings of espionage, all of it, not just what Cassian is dealing with in just specifically like his story. We're
Yeah.
getting things outside of Cassian right now in season
I
2.
probably I've been holding off. I'm gonna wait till this show wraps up and then I'm gonna watch Rogue One again.
I agree. I'm gonna do the
I'm
same.
gonna hold off. I thought about doing it now,
Yeah.
but because Rogue One I watched last time I watched it was a little bit ago.
It's been a while since I've seen it.
So I think I've decided. I'm like, okay, let me just let this show cook. Let them like get to like the big build up, and then I'm gonna go straight into Rogue One and watch it.
All right, before we transition into our other show, I do want to talk about this little pivot. Revenge of the Sith is in theaters. It's very sad because you didn't get to come see it with me last night. And I know you would have loved it as much as I did. Incredible experience. First off, getting to see it on the big screen, just because we never got to do that. So that was really cool. I will say it's also fun because like I heard multiple people just quoting the entire movie, and I don't know why, like, but this time was the first time I watched it where I was legitimately like, gosh dang, like every single part of this movie is a meme. Like there's like maybe 3 or 4 moments that aren't a meme on the internet. And so it's just funny that everybody, whether you've watched it enough times or just because you know all the memes on the internet, everybody was quoting it in the theater. And I did wish we got a little bit more lively theater because I talked to a friend who was actually at the same movie theater at a different time a little bit later. And their crowd was a little bit more nuts about things. Have you seen the TikTok trend of people cheering over the younglings scene?
Yeah.
So that happened in this kids' theater. And then also like apparently they were all cheering every time Padme came on the screen.
Fair enough. I'd do the same thing.
So very funny stuff. But 2 things I wanted to mention about Revenge of the Sith this time watching it that I really hadn't gotten before. This was like one of my first times like really getting the full scope of it. This is what I mean by that. One, I've always watched this movie and I've seen this movie tons of friggin' times. No matter how many times I've watched this movie, when it gets to the part where Anakin turns and he goes and massacres the Jedi Temple, I've always just had the thought of like, I cannot believe of the Anakin that I've seen so far would just massacre the entire Jedi Temple. I just can't believe it would be that quick of a heel, like a quarter flip. And this was the first time watching this movie where it didn't feel like that. Where we got to it and we got to the twist and I was like, no, like I kind of see why he feels like he has no choice. And I think that's more where like I interpret it now is that they do a good job of setting up his visions in episode 2. So that way in episode 3, you really get the sense that he believes his vision is coming true. And he is going to do anything he can to stop it.
So question.
Yeah.
Do you think that the reason you feel that way now is because this is the first time you're watching it since you've been married?
I wouldn't say it's because of that because like but I mean even putting that context into it, that definitely also like hits harder.
You know what I mean? Like
yeah, because I agree. Because
I don't know about you. I don't know about you, but I'd probably do it.
Yeah.
If my wife was, if I had vision my wife's gonna die and I had to do this, I'd do it.
Yeah. And I don't know what it was about it, but like watching it, you see all the small scenes building up to that of like his inner turmoil. And the biggest one that got to me when I saw it was when he's told to wait in the council room while Mace Windu goes to handle Palpatine. And we get that scene, that long drawn out scene of him staring off at Padme and Padme staring off at him. And I finally got the sense of like, not only is he struggling right now with trusting the Jedi Council, but he's struggling to accept that whatever might happen with Mace Windu and Palpatine, like he still doesn't know if that's going to affect Padme. And the entire time he's staring off, and he can honestly probably sense Padme staring at him just with how strong he is.
Mm-hmm.
And you see like the tear roll down his face where like, I don't know, just watching it this time, in that moment I saw it and I was like, damn, like I can tell he's feeling like he has to make a call now. He can't sit here and think about that. He's got to make a decision and he's got to go with it.
Yeah, because his turn is not necessarily because I want to be evil now.
Yes.
It's I have no choice.
100%. And then through his actions, he does get a little bit more of the evil side, but like initially it's not.
But the initial turn, because at that point, once he becomes Vader in the suit, it's too late.
Yeah.
It's too, he's going to sleep
gone.
in the bed you made.
Yep.
And he's already lost Padme.
Yeah.
Which makes him even more angry.
Yep.
And he holds and he carries that guilt and anger, and that's what makes him Vader. But yeah, like I mean, That's interesting. I feel like I've always
Well, I bring that up because I
felt-
know you've always told me like you've always felt like it was never like a quick thing for you.
no, yeah, because I think it's like they do a good job of like from Phantom Menace to Revenge of the Sith. It's like they show, and they do this with a couple of different Jedi and all throughout all of Star Wars. But like they show flashes of like the dark side. in
Yeah.
him. Like when he slaughters the same people.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's like it shows flashes. So he's not like, it'd be different if somebody like Obi-Wan had that. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Where Obi-Wan, the whole story is perfect.
Mm-hmm.
He is perfect. He's a perfect Jedi.
Mm-hmm.
And if he just all of a sudden, I'd be like, whoa.
Yeah. that
But
doesn't
to
make
where it's like Anakin is like a little tainted already.
Yeah.
You know, and now it's like because his ultimate flaw is that he's driven by emotion,
Mm-hmm.
even though he's taught not to, whether good or bad.
Mhm.
Obviously, his emotion has served him good.
Yeah.
But now that it's like he feels, he's about to lose the woman he loves.
Yeah.
It's just
It's different.
it makes it's sad.
It made it sadder. It
Very
made it
sad.
better in my eyes. Like it made the movie even more tragic. It made the movie even better in my mind than I've already held
I
it
don't
up
care
to.
what people say. It's one of my favorite movies.
Well, dude,
of all
that's
time.
something that came out of this whole
I don't
anniversary
care.
drop is honestly like I love seeing the love that this movie is getting. Like a lot,
yeah.
I feel like this is one of the more drastic turns I've seen on a movie where like people know its flaws but accept it anyways. And transitioning to my second point that I had coming out of this movie was like, what are the flaws people always talk about in this movie? It's the acting, it's the dialogue, it's the writing, like the written dialogue type stuff. While I caught the same moments that I always catch when it comes to those, I will say this is the first time I watched this movie and I thought to myself, there's actually a lot less of those than I ever thought there was.
Yeah,
And-
I've always been on that
Yeah.
boat where I think it's
Unfortunately, like those couple scenes are just so bad that they do stick out in people's minds. But I will say
sure.
there's actually like a lot of good acting as well going on in this movie. There's a
Dude.
lot of good line delivery, a lot of good emotion that you feel. It's not all bad. And I
Dude.
think that was what people got wrapped up in for like 20 plus years.
The whole final dialogue is one of the greatest dialogues I've ever heard
sure.
in my life.
For sure.
Bro, it's like this movie is one of the greatest
Well,
dialogues.
I'm
I
not
would
even
put
talking
it-
about that. But yeah, I agree.
but like even though there's a little there's some quirky moments
Yeah.
and there's some like there's some like a little bit of like a drop.
yeah.
The fact that it serves as one of the best lightsaber sequences of all time.
Oh, I think it's
in
the best.
all
I think
Star
it's the
Wars.
best one.
right?
Bar none.
And it that is following up on the best dialogues across all of cinema, I would say. Like it's just
Yeah.
like no, it's just like the whole story builds up to this, and it's just like there's so much emotion, and to me, it's like this is when I'll die on the hill,
Yeah,
and it's
that's
like
fine.
if people are like, no, it's like I think Revenge of the Sith is the best within Star Wars. And I think it's one of my favorite movies
Yeah.
of all time.
Well, like I said, like I'm more on your side now after seeing it this time. I don't know why, but like I saw it. I know which scenes that come to mind when I think of the bad acting, and I think of the bad dialogue more often than bad acting. And just you're kind of left to the actors to deliver what they're given, especially with Kenobi. That's like where that takes place, because there's a couple scenes where like
Hello there.
he's a great actor, and there's a couple scenes where I'm just like, bro, you wouldn't react that way, or you wouldn't say that, and it's like, but it's not really him. I think it's just what he was given at the time, and that's fine. But like again,
It's also a product of his time.
1,000%. And it's
2003.
dude, that was another thing, bro.
Five? No,
This movie visually holds up really well.
What it was
2005. Holds up really freaking well. I was sitting there watching the whole intro scene where they're fighting in space,
Yeah.
and I was like, gosh dang, compared to some things I've seen the last 2 years, this is excellent.
With the little clinker things
Yeah.
on the thing, and he's like
And there's some snes where you can see like the product of its time in terms of like CGI, but for the most part, this movie actually still looks
Yeah.
really good. And it just makes me more sad for where we're at in the CGI world
Fair.
that we're at right now, because
Fair.
the fact that they were doing this 2005, I know we can do it today. We're just not putting in the effort, which is really annoying.
For sure. Well,
but
yeah,
yeah.
it's because like even the originals, the 70s, they're a product of its time.
That's what that.
Like you know,
That's what the beauty of Star Wars is. They've never really dipped in terms of quality of like visuals because of their consistent goal to keep a mix of practical and CGI.
Yeah.
And that's something that they will always hold over Marvel. Despite Marvel's reign, that's what they'll hold. So, yeah, no, I don't know. I came out of this time watching it, and it, as much as I've already loved the movie, I love it even more now. And especially too, like with all the context of the last season of Clone Wars that we get, and all the Vader comics, and like all this different stuff that you see around this. So Kenobi, seeing all that Vader's doing in Kenobi, and the heartbreak between Ewan and our Kenobi and Anakin, and that is like, there was a person with us that like hadn't seen the movie before.
Oh wow.
And we came out of it, and we were all like told her, we were like, yeah, like if you're gonna watch one other thing outside of this, you should go watch Kenobi next, because it will make this hit even harder
For sure.
than it did. So, yeah, just good stuff, and I'm really glad I got to see it. I'm sad you didn't get to see it though, because I don't know when the next time it's gonna come around, but if it comes back to like one of our local theaters, they're doing all the originals. Yeah, they're doing all the originals for May the 4th. So maybe we'll catch it on a May the 4th, soon in the future.
Yeah, no, for sure. And it sucked, but because that's one of my favorite. I've said it multiple times. Infamously, one of my favorite movies of all time.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
definitely sucked.
But all right, we're gonna take a break there. We will be back soon to discuss The Last of Us. Catch us on YouTube, catch us on TikTok, catch us on Instagram. Go like, go follow, go drop a comment, go tell your friends. We appreciate it lots. We will catch y'all here later. Peace.